Uganda first.
Hello, welcome to Youth of Purpose, a show that is here to inspire you and transform you as a young person out there to be able to understand Uganda better, but also put a brick to the development of this nation. My name is Ivan Tumukunde. Welcome to the show. Now, we've had conversations over and over years talking about oil and, being proud about having this very rich resource in our country. But do you understand, the nitty-gritties and how you as an ordinary Ugandan can be able to benefit from this industry? Today, we're going to be talking to a very, very resourceful person to tell us about all this and the opportunities available in the oil and gas industry. We are talking to Mr. Patrick Arhauza, who is the principal of the Institute of Petroleum Studies, Kampala. He's going to be adding us more information to understand this discussion today better. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Kindly introduce yourself to the viewer and give us a brief about the petroleum and oil and gas industry in Uganda.
Well, I'm so glad that you have invited me to participate in this discussion, and it's been my passion over the last years to particularly inspire and encourage Ugandans to meaningfully participate in the oil and gas industry, because it's a very lucrative industry, it's a very incessant industry, and it's a game of two halves. You can either completely make it and succeed, or you could look after many years and wonder what exactly happened here. We had a good resource. Yes.
So that's amazing. Can you kindly break down for us the oil and gas industry in Uganda? Since the discovery of oil in Uganda, we've had discussions, and we are proud as Ugandans about the resource that we have. But what does the oil and gas industry mean to the ordinary Ugandan?
First and foremost, I'm sure by now almost every Ugandan has an idea on the fact that Uganda discovered oil. Oil is a beautiful resource. It's beautiful because it is very useful globally. It's extremely marketable. Has got so many uses, and yet it is very, once getting it out of the ground after the investment, of course, initial investment, is a whole lot cheaper in comparison to the benefits of it. That's why the world is drunk on oil. People love oil because it does so many things. It's not only for petrol and diesel and flying planes, but it also can be used to make plastics and to make bitumen, to make tarmac roads, to make fertilizers, to make CDs, the compact discs, and to do a lot of things. So petroleum products, the byproducts, especially if you have a refinery, are extremely many and so valuable. That makes the potency of oil as a resource extremely beautiful to a nation. So when a country finds oil, I dare to say, if a country finds oil, it has found a good thing.
Amazing.
Yes.
So that brings me to a very important question that I'm hopeful many Ugandans out there would really like to hear. We are hearing that, we know that there is a pipeline being built for Ugandan oil to be taken to the port for refining, I think, is it? So is it not also the same way that you'll be taking away the opportunities that Ugandans would be benefiting from this oil? You talk about a number of products. It's good that you're breaking it down. Many people, when we talk about oil, they are looking at petrol, diesel, and stuff. But then we have gas and all that. So kindly break down for us the opportunities available in this industry that us as Ugandans can be able to benefit from.
Okay. First and foremost, the opportunities stretch over a long period of time.
Okay.
The estimate of our current resource is about 6.5 billion barrels of oil, with about 1.2 billion recoverable, 1.4 billion recoverable, which means that's the amount we can be able to get out of the ground that could take anything between 25 and 40 years if we find more oil.
Wow.
And depending on the rate at which we extract the oil. Now, what are the opportunities? The opportunities that are available in the oil and gas industry come in different...
It's a value chain, is to say.
Yes, of course, it's a value chain, but also they are zoned in different ways. One, there are opportunities that are direct to the oil and gas industry. For example, supply a rig, come and construct a well, come and handle the fluids in the well, do the cementing, or if you are a supplier of petroleum engineering services, the health and safety services directly inside there. So those are direct services and those are direct opportunities. Now the challenge with those, especially for us in Uganda, is our industry or our business, the scale of it is a bit too heavy for the majority of companies in this country. A single contract could have a cash call of $1 billion.
Which a small company here in Uganda will not have.
Practically impossible.
Don't you think then that's a miscalculation by government? Don't you think they should have been able to empower these small companies to be able to...
I'm coming to that. So those are the direct services that are available, direct opportunities. Then there are indirect opportunities. Indirect opportunities, for example, right now we are in the construction phase and your company is given a job to supply drivers or to supply cars or to construct a road going to the oil area or to lay a pipeline. These subcontract opportunities are very beautiful. They're still large, they're really big, but they have opportunities for partnership, for organizations to make groups together and consolidate capital and be able to be involved. So a lot of Ugandan companies have signed very, very lucrative deals that are going to be working indirectly as subcontractors around the oil and gas industry. That's a lot of money. Because they deal with skills that we currently have: engineering, surveying, construction, machinery that is not very difficult. Then, in addition to that, there is the induced ring of opportunities. Now, that covers opportunities that are not necessarily going to be paid by the oil company, but they are created, catalyzed by the presence of the extractive industry in an area. For example, people who are providing hotels, people who are going to supply the food, people who are going to bring entertainment, people who are going to be, and this is in great numbers. I'll give you some numbers. For example, to just construct infield pipelines that are going to be taking oil from the well to the central processing facility and maybe to the pumping station, which is going to move it to the international, the EACOP. Just the infield pipelines for one area could require about 10,000 workers. Those 10,000 workers live in a camp. In a camp, they eat 2 eggs every day.
Wow.
We need somebody to provide eggs for 2 eggs for 10,000 people every day. Can you calculate the business opportunity for that?
A very big one.
It's a huge, huge opportunity. So there are opportunities around the oil and gas industry. There are so many.
You see, when you talk now, you give me a picture that there are lots of opportunities available for Ugandans, and I start asking myself, ain't you guys sitting on this information? Have you done enough to make sure that Ugandans are well informed, sensitized on the opportunities available, like you're talking about them now?
Yes, I would want to believe that the Petroleum Authority of Uganda has really done a lot to sensitize.
Okay.
I have participated in a number of events and campaigns that I've seen that the Petroleum Authority pushing this information, not only here in Kampala and other parts of the country, but especially on the local communities that are the host communities that are going to be holding this industry there. Because above all else, one of the major, most resounding topic that everybody's been talking about has been local content. How do we get Ugandans to participate meaningfully so that they can end up be actually transitioning from poverty to wealth or to a place of economic stability as a result of the oil and gas industry. So there's been a lot of training, there are a lot of opportunities being channeled through the private sector foundation, through the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, through banks, through organizations that are directly involved. There are a lot of international organizations that are supporting these efforts at local level and at national level. So the information is available. It's just that we need to keep doing it. We need to keep doing it. We've been dealing with the COVID pandemic, but you'll be surprised that you'll reach some quarters and they will say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you can avoid it with a mask and things, in spite of the fact being global. So you can never get tired of disseminating this information. On the challenging part with the industry is that this information is time bound.
Wow.
Yes. So once the construction phase is done,
then
there's a lot of opportunities that go with that. And then the opportunities that are left perhaps could be a bit more muted than we have at the moment.
Yeah. It's lots of opportunities we're getting to understand are available in the gas and oil sector. But us as Ugandans, like I asked, do you really understand these opportunities and have you positioned yourself right to be able to benefit from that? Now we're going to be, listening in from a number of Ugandans, young people, to really paint for us a picture. Do they understand anything about this industry? Are they ready really to benefit from the available opportunities? And what is their take on the whole industry? I'll be right back.
Youth of Purpose.
Hi everyone, my name is Kemba Gloria Pearl and I'm here today to share the different opportunities I think and believe in oil and gas industry once it kicks off. I believe that shall have the job opportunities that are many youths out there are not having the jobs. So many sectors will be opened up in the industry. And I believe also that the prices of the gas, the oil and the fuel will also go down. That many people have been saying that because we are importing, that's why it's expensive. But I believe once we start extracting our own oil and gas, it will be on a low prices. And on top of that, so I believe that the relationship shall be having with other countries will be on a greater expense than it is now. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Babalanda. I'm so delighted because right now Uganda has the oil and gas sector, and just like we've seen from countries that have got the sector earlier than us, they have really benefited. The oil and gas sector comes with a lot of opportunities like job increase, infrastructure development and others. That is if we handle it well, because we look at countries like Nigeria, however much they got the oil and they have it in plenty, oil and gas sector has been a curse to them. There are very many poor people. So as Uganda, we need to position ourselves very well so that we get to benefit from this sector. Like we need to train our citizens and they get skills in that sector and the likes. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Martha Wamgarchira and I'm personally very excited about oil and gas in Uganda. It's an opportunity, but it also brings many challenges. It will all depend on how we treat ourselves, how we handle it, how we be informed. Because we have seen very many countries that have faced the Dutch disease, the resource curse, where oil comes and instead of making things better, things become worse. But we also know of countries that oil has helped, like Botswana. So I feel like as Ugandans, as youth, we are supposed to position ourselves in a way that we are ready for oil and gas, irrespective of our sectors, whether we did sciences or arts or whatever course we did, we can find information and, be strategic so that by the time the opportunities come, they find us ready. Because if we are not informed, if we are not educated, our country will go in the wrong hands and the oil blessing will become a resource curse. Uganda will be worse than it is now. But if we educate ourselves, if we inform ourselves using social media, using schools, doing oil and gas courses, short courses, introduction of oil and gas, getting to know about it, being patriotic in that way. In conclusion, I urge all the youths out there, position yourselves. look for information in whatever way possible. You know, leave WhatsApp, leave Facebook, leave slaying. Look for the available information from Uganda Petroleum Authority, there are very many oil and gas organizations in Uganda that put all that information out there on social media. So let us be informed, let us inform ourselves, let us be educated, do oil and gas courses, the masters, the short ones. Let's have a little knowledge about it so that we can be able to be ready when it comes. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Mutek John Dab. My knowledge about the oil and gas in Uganda, it is upon the discovery of oil and gas in 2006, Uganda has really gone through a lot of transition, ranging from the policy making. Ever since then, we're into that preparation whereby people are being trained, police have been revived that suit to our industry not to become a curse. So apparently right now we are into the final stages whereby at least we're seeing that the East African oil pipeline is being worked on, and oil roads are being constructed. Generally that development stage is being worked on. So with the oil and gas industry, it really has the value chain. It is divided into the three value chains, or three value chains, whereby we have the upstream, the midstream, and the downstream. So apparently we're still in the upstream, whereby we have the exploration, the production and development. So in the midstream, it's now where we have the transportation and refining. Then the downstream, that's where you have now the marketing. So apparently what the government is doing, is trying to make way so that we see our industry, all the value chains are really in a working environment mode, whereby we shouldn't see our country having that curse. We need to see it as a blessing in our country. For the opportunities, one, there are very many, ranging from the economical, whereby at least over 1,000 people will be employed. We have the ones who will be directly employed, indirectly employed, and those ones will be induced employed. For direct jobs, you find that maybe if you're an engineer, you'll have the opportunity to work in an oil and gas company. Let me say, an engineer, well, that's direct employment. The indirect, let me assume you're a farmer and you're going to feed a certain service provider. You're going to be indirectly employed in that company. For the induced job, it's why now a shamba boy is benefiting from the work that is being done in the garden. That's now a lot of people, or Ugandans, will be maybe in that sector. For the employment, that's one of the.
Perfect. So that's it from the young people. That's what they understand by the oil and gas sector. And I hope with this show, they've been able to get more information, learning from someone who is an expert in this industry. It's good that you had an institute which is basically for petroleum, and you're the right person to able us have this kind of discussion. What is the institute doing to be able to interest many more Ugandans in secondary schools, at universities, to be able to take up training and do courses related to oil and gas?
Well, at the moment, I wouldn't be discussing our marketing strategy necessarily, but what we have done is just to continually have shows like this and make the voice be heard. And the message really, beyond anything else, the message is that we have an obligation as citizens of this country, as patriots of this country, to participate and to gain knowledge and to seek to be a part of the development that can happen if we have the right tools. The oil and gas industry relies upon the people of a nation to be able to translate itself into actual blessing to a nation. But otherwise, if Ugandans think about participation in the oil and gas industry as something that is beyond them and relegated to a political question or something that can only be handled by external players who have got a lot of money, then we accept to lose out even before trying.
But are they? Because I've even seen members of parliament complaining they are not getting enough information about oil and the whole sector. So how could even an ordinary Ugandan, let's say student at university, be able to access information that not even a member of parliament can access?
Well, you see, Evan, the thing is, sometimes it's an assumption of information. The information that we need to know as Ugandans in regard to the industry is available. There's nobody hiding any information.
So what is not being put out is not supposed to be known?
Not necessarily, I wouldn't put it that way. Of course, there is proprietary information. Proprietary information refers to information that gives leverage to a company. For example, if I have a special recipe that I use to make my chicken, and that's what gives me money, so I don't want you to know that. Yeah. So proprietary information is not for public consumption.
Okay.
But general information that is in regard to policy, that's regard to opportunities available, how to participate, what level of effort you need to put in, the kind of standards that are required, that information is available. Petroleum Authority of Uganda website, Institute of Petroleum Studies website, all sorts of organizations that are dealing in oil and gas, they've put this information out there. But beyond that, I think there is a communications office at the Petroleum Authority that has done a commendable job to make especially the aspect of opportunities known to Ugandans. There's a lot of publications that have been made, a lot of studies that have come out to make sure that people know where they can position themselves. But this is perhaps where I put in my own two cents, that we have institutions like our own here that not only teaches you to have a degree and a diploma and a master's, but we provide extremely useful information in regard to your personal development and linkages into the oil and gas industry.
Wow.
There are a lot of contacts you can make. Recently, we graduated 57 students about two weeks ago. And among them, we had, I think, judges of the High Court, registrars and leading lawyers and people from National Environmental Management Authority, Uganda Revenue Authority, police, and almost every sector of the economy is represented when you come in our classes here. And these people, they network, they talk, they exchange ideas, they build new bodies of information, they do research. So there is information, especially if you come to a specialized institute like this, you can find a lot of information. We've studied a lot of things in regard to local content. So I think Ugandans need to embrace education. If you want to participate in the oil and gas sector, a good place to start is find out what you can learn. Come and register either at the institute or any other place where you feel you can learn more about the industry. Then you'll be able to place your objectives and the industry and make them align.
I don't know if you're the right person to answer this question. Why is it taking long for us to start extracting our oil?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You put a disclaimer before asking me the question. I think that the Petroleum Authority is the one best suited to answer this question, perhaps in its entirety. What I know is that the answer is not a linear answer. It's not a one-sentence answer, but there are factors, a confluence of factors, including economic factors, effects of COVID, financial cycles around the world. Like for a long time, we are waiting for final investment decision. People were final investment decision, but this involves a lot of negotiations for host government agreements. For you can't start extracting oil without having a pipeline or a refinery. So there has to be the availability or confirmation that there is sufficient investment. The people who are going to build those things need to go and find money. They've got to convince the funders that they've got everything in line. They've managed political risk. They've been able to handle all the associated issues. And then also Ugandans have their own negotiating cards, which we put on the table and say, we want 46% of the people working in this industry to be Ugandan. We want these policies. We want environmentally to be handled this way. There are all issues of regulations. So it's a lot of work before you go into designing and front-end engineering, etc., to make sure that this is a big thing. Nobody wakes up in the morning and spends $20 billion and rushes it.
True.
People who have rushed it have got beaten. So to some extent, I'm glad that Ugandans have been patient. Although all of us want the things to move along now. Let's things move along.
Yeah.
And from all indications, I think with the leadership of the president, negotiations have been concluded in great part.
Okay.
So we are waiting to see what happens.
Perfect. Lastly, if I want to position myself right to benefit from the oil and gas sector, what should I be doing right now?
What should you be doing right now? As one, identify your leverage, identify your area of advantage, where and once you locate that, then seek out information where you can position yourself. So if you're an engineer, how should you be positioning yourself? I think if you're an engineer, number one, you need to update your credentials in regard to health and safety. You need to update your credentials in regard to international certification and recognition. Skill up, upskill. Yeah? Get yourself aligned, because when these people come to employ, there will be maybe 500 engineers who have applied for the same job. But what would bubble your profile to the top to be considered is the extra vavavoom that you bring on the paper. That, you know what, on top of that, I'm a member of the International Association of Special Engineers.
Wow.
That doesn't exist. I'm just giving an example. So you have extra certification, you have the extra knowledge that you've gathered, you've got done extra research. So skill up, beef up your profile, so that you can be able to raise to the top when competition comes for work.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Patrick Ruhauser is the principal at the Institute of Petroleum Studies, Kampala. He's been speaking to us about the opportunities available in the oil and gas sector. I do believe by end of discussion, you've been able to understand a thing or two on how you can position yourself right to be able to benefit from this sector. Not to just keep lamenting that, you know, I'm a Ugandan and as Ugandans we have oil. You know, if you're not going to benefit at least by participating, but also you have an opportunity to benefit from the value chain of this industry. My name is Ivan Tumukunde. I thank you so much for watching Youth of Purpose, a show that is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Call Office of the President under the theme Uganda First. By understanding the better and the good resources that Uganda has and participating by making sure that you add on the GDP of this country is a patriotic vow. I thank you so much. See you next time.
Youth of Purpose, brought to you by Uganda First.